Okay, so it's our Saturday night gathering, and sort of moving toward the end of the Vasa period, the rains retreat, and various members of the community are on solitary retreat, as is usual, and we take turns. And I guess there's about a little over 2 weeks left of the rains retreat, the Vasa period. So just put a plug in for using this time to explore your meditation. Give yourself the opportunity to. Maybe we should be doing this all the time, but that's where having retreat periods or practice periods are really useful, because it sort of reminds us to be exploring really the roots of our practice or of our training of the heart, because it is it's easy to get caught up in different things, or get distracted, or go off on different tangents for different reasons. But to bring attention back to the fundamentals of how do we still quiet the mind, how do we quiet the mind, quiet the heart. It's just so used to its chatter and its distractions. So just to be taking an interest in how do we get really comfortable with being peaceful? Because we all sort of want to be peaceful. We all have the whole see it as a real value or as a real goal. But to make it quite tangible, and I think with just as we each time there's a period of meditation, to really take the time to settle into your body, settle into the breathing, and that's whether one's doing walking meditation or sitting meditation. Because the tendency is for us, for everybody really, just going up into the head and getting lost in distracting thought, memories, proliferations. So really grounding attention, awareness, mindfulness in the simplicity. And certainly for me, my anchor has always been the breath, and it's what I teach and put a plug in all the time. But it's also something that can be the same principles apply for whatever meditation you're comfortable with. But certainly that sense of really settling the attention into the body and relaxing the body. Relaxing into the rhythm of the breath, relaxing into the softening of the body, a softening of the breath, so that it's easeful, it's pleasant. You can't just sort of force your will on the mind. You can't force your will on the kind of being kind of hell-bent for nibbana. I'm just going to push my way through, and it doesn't work that way. You just you can't keep it up. And it's just so important to be willing to relax, breathing in, breathing out. And there's a relaxing that goes on in terms of the relaxing the body, relaxing the kind of the compulsive nature of the mind. But of course you don't want to be relaxing mindfulness. I mean you don't want to be or you don't want to be neglectful of being mindful. The mindfulness needs to be relaxed and able to sustain itself. Because sometimes we can sort of force ourselves to be alert or present or awake, but it's just kind of like desperately holding it together, waiting for the next distraction. But just to be just relaxing into the rhythm of the breath, the ease of this present moment, being really like learning how to be comfortable with stillness, silence. We fill our minds up with just thoughts and memories and projections and views and opinions. Just can we just be comfortable with silence and stillness? Just really reflecting and looking, well, what's behind the thoughts? What's behind the emotion? What's behind the feelings? What's behind the projections and proliferations? What's behind all the machinations of self? And the stillness, the silence that is there, is possible. And you realize, because on a certain level, I think as human beings, we tend to kind of dread a void, an emptiness. But you realize that there's like stillness and silence are not empty, they're full, they're replete. And just being replete, being able to be filled and replete with stillness, with silence. It's really, it's quite delicious. And to experiment with that, but you need to be peeling back and looking at what's behind, because the voices of compulsion are, they're just so strong and they're so habitual. And we're so conditioned to believe it all the time, and we forget that it's there. And this is really, when we think of the nature of the Buddhist teaching, we chant it all the time. That the nature of the Dhamma of the Buddhist teaching is sanditthiko. It's apparent here and now. This is an immanent teaching. It's present all the time. We just have to tune the heart to recognize it and experience it. So this is the work of our meditation and our contemplation, our investigation, so that we can really sort of see it. So that sense of being comfortable with, comfortable with seclusion. In the talk I gave last week, one of the qualities that the Buddha points to that is characteristic of this Dhamma, this Vinaya, is that it leads to seclusion. It doesn't lead to seeking out company. And this is so seclusion isn't just a physical. Physical seclusion is one of it. Yeah, absolutely. And we're very blessed that we live in a forest. We live in a monastery. We have the forest around us. We have our dwelling places in the forest, and get back to our kuti. Spend plenty of time there. And it's not as if it's a rejection of community or communal responsibility or responsibility and duties that we have with each other, or with having good, solid relationships with other human beings. But it's that balancing point. It's like Ajahn Pasanno saying that the Dhamma is found in the point of balance. The balance of seclusion and engaging. It's on the balance of stillness and action. The balance of, it's like Ajahn Chah said, it's above good and beyond bad, above right and beyond wrong. It's the point of balance. And so that's really trying to, and on a certain level, you're never going to figure it out. You have to feel it. You have to experience it. And that's what the practice is really for. And being willing to open the heart to that immanent nature of truth. And, one of is being willing to witness truth, to witness the way things truly are. And, and that's when, say, like when we take the Buddha as refuge, and we think, or what we're doing really is taking a refuge in being a witness, taking that opportunity to witness the Dhamma, witness truth, witness the way things truly are. And of course, and what is the nature of the way things truly are? It's just that, whatever is of the nature to arise, that is of the nature to cease. And this being able to watch this arising and ceasing. And it's not that the stillness or silence is going to stop things arising and ceasing, but we can be a witness to it, not be drawn into the drama of it, or not be shaken by the reality of, whatever is of the nature to arise, is of the nature to cease. And whatever comes into being is going to pass away, whether it's internal or external, whether it's far or near, whether it's pertaining to materiality or to mentality. This is the reality of all things and of all conditioned things. But, there's also that which is not conditioned. And that's what we want to get a feel for. And it's in the witnessing that we can experience that. It's in the witnessing that we can recognize that, see that, experience it, and have gain the confidence in the simplicity. So it's in that witnessing in the knowing is our opportunity for true refuge. And it's that sense of, it's like the Upasika Gi's kind of description of that, an inward staying, unentangled knowing, all outward going knowing cast aside. This is really beautiful description of that just being with the knowing, or being the knowing, being the one who knows. I mean, you sort of get tangled up in language, and we can make it complicated, but it's this very direct recognition. This is recognition of truth, recognition of Dhamma, and it's here, and and that's where sort of the stillness, silence is the word, and then a stillness, of course, is not a kind of a static forcing things into not moving, but it's just it's a quality that how we experience things. And it's like, and there's Ajahn Chah pointing to this quality of knowing and clarity and stillness as stillness flowing, because it's still, but it flows. It flows, it moves, it accords with conditions, but it's still. And this is incredibly beautiful. And again, there's a simplicity to it, but you have to be willing to kind of sit down day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and be able to and really recognize it, see it, experience it, taste it, feel it. And it's there all the time, but our propensity to get caught by, it's like the vortex of tanha and avidya. It's like the Buddha saying, bound by ignorance and obstructed by craving. And that's the problem. And how do we untangle that? How do we see beyond that? How do we not get caught? And so it's just this, again, it's just returning to the knowing, being willing to sit quietly and allow that quiet to permeate the heart. Breathing in, being with the knowing. Breathing out, being with the knowing. And and again, it's so accessible, but it really isn't. It isn't easy. What's easy is suffering and being confused. So it's being, but taking an interest. It's like, how do I look at this in a fresh way? How do I look at it in a new way, that I'm not hooked and caught by my habits and my conditioning? Because you really have to question yourself and encourage yourself. And again, it's that you have to encourage yourself. You can't just sort of force yourself, and you can't beat yourself. You can't beat the mind into submission. You have to be willing to experiment and try different things. But it's again that getting that balance of being diligent and relaxing, and being still and being able to flow. So that the sense of balance is such an important aspect to be interested in and investigate. I think I'll leave it there. If I say anything more, it's the same thing over and over.